Good morning, everyone. It's Aisha Chidolue here from the Chidolue Law Firm. I'm an immigration attorney in Orlando area, Florida. My phone number here is 407-995-6567. You can also reach us on WhatsApp 404-333-8751. If you're tuning in for the first time, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, follow me on Instagram or Facebook, or like my page on Facebook. And then share this video with your friends, so that if they have questions, they can come on and ask. Because a lot of times, people are always like, oh, I want to ask this question for my friend. I want to ask this question for my cousin. So today's a good time to share it so they can come in here and ask. Today, I don't really have any topics. I just want to come on live here so I can answer some of your questions. If you have questions, leave them in the comment box. Definitely let me know where you're tuning in from. Good morning, Ramel on YouTube. And good morning to y'all on Instagram and Facebook. I see you guys as well. Definitely leave your questions in here so I can answer. Let us know where you're logged in from. While I'm waiting for more people to tune in, I just took a couple of notes of some questions that I get asked so I can answer them. But please do not be shy. Feel free to ask your questions so I can answer them. Okay, so one of the questions that I want to answer is, how does a travel permit work? People ask this question all the time. Can I travel? Is it for traveling within the United States? Is it for traveling outside the United States? How does it work? So first things first, a travel permit essentially means an advance parole. It's essentially the same. If you hear advance parole, it means a travel permit. And this is a document that's given to people who have a pending petition. So if you have a pending petition with U.S. immigration that qualifies you, like a pending green card petition. Let me correct myself. So if you have a pending petition for a green card that qualifies you to get a travel permit, typically, if there are no issues in your background, you'll be approved. Like if you were ordered removed, or if you have a potential deportation order or hearing, even if you mistakenly get a travel permit, please do not use it, because once you leave the country, you're probably not going to be able to come back. The only people that I recommend to use their travel permit is those who don't have any kind of deportation proceeding or any kind of or are not in the immigration judge or trial stage. You're just applying for marriage-based, family-based green card, and your case is just pending. If you do get the travel permit, try not to travel for too long of a time, because sometimes you might be scheduled for biometrics. Sometimes you might be scheduled for an interview. Most of the time they give you maybe like a 2 or 3 weeks lead time. So if you're gone for like 4 weeks or like 2 months, it's difficult. It's difficult to be able to get back quickly, especially depending on what side of the country, not the country, what side of the world you've traveled to. So try to keep your travel short, not too long, just so that you're here to attend whatever it is that they call you for. Let's see. I have a question from Ramel. Ramel says, hey, Aisha, I have a personal question I don't want to ask you on live. Can I call you when you get off? Absolutely. You don't have to wait till I get off, Ramel. You can call us right now and schedule a consultation to speak to me. One of my staff will be able to answer and reserve an appointment time for you. My phone number is 407-995-6567. It is scrolling through. Let me put it through the ticker so you guys can see. So it is scrolling through the ticker on YouTube and Facebook. And for those of you on Instagram, it is right there on, my profile. Somebody says, what's the next step after biometrics if I already have a green card before applying for VAWA? I'm not sure I understand your question. So you have a green card already? And so why are you applying for VAWA if you already have a green card? Or do you mean that you have a conditional green card and you're applying to remove the conditions based on abuse? If that's what you mean, you can clarify. So I am sure I understand what you're saying. Let's see, somebody, tiny bit of sunshine says, did your consultation price increase? Yes, our consultation price increased. It's now $150 to consult with me. That's why it's always good to, if you have the opportunity to do something or to hire somebody for something as important as your immigration, you should do it because, things change, prices fluctuate. So it's always good to, get your stuff done when you can. Okay, let's see. What other questions I have here? So another frequently asked question that I get is, when do you get your social security number? So typically you get your social security number after you get your work permit. So when you apply for your work permit, if you don't have a social security number or social security card, this is an opportunity for you to request one. So usually in your work permit application, you can request a social security number. And usually it will come, you will get your work permit. And then after you get your work permit, a couple of weeks later, you'll get your social security number. Some people, if you forgot, let's say you forgot to put that in your application, or whoever helps you to prepare your application forgot to do that, all is not lost. Once you get your work permit, you can go to the Social Security office and apply for your social security number. The great thing is, I believe that Social Security is now allowing people to come in, because for almost a year they were closed because of the pandemic. So we're seeing a real backlog where it was taking people to get the work permit, and it's taking like 1 or 2 months to get your social security number, and you can't go into the office, whatever. So hopefully, if you're in that situation, it'll be easy for you to go in the office. But the easiest way is just to select, yes, you want your social security number, and you get it. Precious says, yes, conditional green card, and I'm applying for VAWA based on abuse. So you are applying for, no, what you're doing is you're applying to remove the conditions on your green card based on abuse, because you already have a green card. For VAWA, for those who don't have a green card already, I mean, I guess, it's similar, but I just want to make sure people are not confused by it. So in your case, once you do your biometrics, you just really have to wait until they schedule you for an interview, or sometimes they will bypass the interview depending on how much evidence you submit. And not schedule you and just make a decision. And that could take anywhere from 18 months to honestly 24 months. Right now, conditional green cards are definitely taking a long time. That's why they usually give you an 18-month extension on your green card. And if your green card expires while your case is pending, usually you can do what we call an info pass, where you go to the immigration office, your local immigration office, with your pending receipt, and then they will stamp your passport with an extension to your green card for an additional year. So, you definitely have time to wait. Now, having said that, are there some times that they make a decision quicker than 18 months? Absolutely. There are times when they've made a decision quicker than 18 months. But, I don't know where you fall along, that path. So I'm just giving you what the average time is. Okay. So another question that I frequently get asked is, what is the wait time for a work permit? So the answer is that it really depends. It's really hard to give an answer unless I know what category or what kind of work permit you applied for. So once we know what kind of work permit you applied for, it's easier for me to say, okay, like based on what category what is qualifying you basically for the work permit, it's easier to tell you what the average time is. So the only two that I'm going to talk about are two of my primary case types, a marriage-based case. With the marriage-based case or family-based case, the average work permit time is somewhere between 4 to 7 months. Most people post-pandemic fall around the 5.5 months to 6 months timeline. For a VAWA-based case, similar, 5 to 8 months. Most people fall around the 5.5 months to 6 months timeline. And, I say most people because sometimes, people are, they get it earlier. I would say the earliest that we've gotten a work permit, maybe was 2 months, but that's not the norm at all. It's not the norm at all. And the latest we've got a work permit is like a year later. So it just really depends on your case, but most people fall in between the 5-month and the 6-month timeline. Let's see, what else do I have here? MK Cashman says, good morning, my lawyer. Good morning. Oyebade says, hello, Aisha. Hi, thanks for tuning in. You guys are not commenting and letting me know where you are logged in from. I always like to know where people are calling from. Ramel says, hi, Aisha. My friend was granted asylum in 2018, and a year later he filed for his green card. I never got it until now. Yeah, so that's too speculative. I'll need to speak to your friend to see what's going on. He can schedule a consultation with me, and then we can evaluate it and see what we need to do. Akko Ibi on Instagram says, something for people from Africa. I'm not sure I understand your question. If you can just type that correctly so that I can answer it, because I don't understand what you typed. And then another question that I also get asked a lot is green card holders, can they file for their parents? You know, I know I've said this several times. The answer is no. They cannot file for their parents. You can only file for your parents if you're a U.S. citizen. You have to be a U.S. citizen. And no, your wife who's a U.S. citizen cannot file for her own parent in-laws. You can't file for your in-laws. The only thing that you can do is if your husband or your wife is petitioning for their parents and maybe their income is not enough, you as the in-law spouse can add your income to your spouse's as a supplement to helping him being able to petition, like being a financial sponsor. But no, as an in-law, you cannot petition for your parents-in-law. As a green card holder, you cannot petition from your parents. Now, if you're a green card holder, though, you can petition for your spouse and your children, unmarried children. You can also petition, and right now there's what we call availability, like, so meaning there's no wait time. Normally with green card holders, there's usually a wait time where you have to wait for visas to be available for you to petition, but right now there's no wait time. But if you're if you're a green card holder and you're filing for your son or your daughter who is over 21 and unmarried, there is a wait time. There's like a 5-year wait time. That is as of this month. Next month, I don't know what the wait time is going to be, but I'm just giving you guys the average. And let me just explain something to you guys that people get confused a lot. You know, if you heard in the last minute, I just mentioned children, and then I just mentioned son versus daughter. This is what immigration considers. They consider children as people under 21. Once you're over 21, you're considered a son or a daughter. It changes from children to a son or a daughter. And so the same privileges that apply to children under 21 don't necessarily apply to sons and daughters. So it becomes a little bit more difficult if you're over 21 for your parents to petition for you. You know, you're looking at wait times and all those other requirements. So just know the difference. Janine LaPierre says, okay, so let me just acknowledge some people here. Hello, sis, from Marietta, Georgia. Thanks for tuning in. The Ocasio says, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Thanks for tuning in. My brother actually lives in Little Rock, Arkansas. He's a surgeon there. Let's see what else we have here. And then I cannot pronounce your name, says, good morning from New York. Good morning. Good morning, Damien. Janine says, can you travel with an info pass? I-55. So you mean 551? You're confusing me. Like maybe I'm having like a number of this thing, but basically, yes. If you have your if you have your info pass stamp for 1 year green card, which is what you're saying, you can travel. Okay. Well, let me put a caveat there. As long as you're not in removal proceedings, because you can get a stamp and still be in removal proceedings. So it's important to check if you're in removal proceedings. If you don't know, you can check on EOIR, or you can contact an attorney to check for you. What I mean by that is sometimes people are green card holders, and you know, let's say they're conditional green card holders, and they filed for removal of condition, or What you call it? They filed for removal of condition, and their removal of condition was denied. So if your removal of condition was denied, then you could potentially be in removal proceeding. But if you're applying again, you could be in removal proceeding but still have your green card, because until the immigration judge terminates your status, you are still a green card holder. So in those cases, I wouldn't suggest traveling. And I just want to confirm that what you're saying that you have is an I-551. I know that you wrote that spelling, you probably wrote that wrong, but I'm thinking that's what you're talking about. Okay, so Oye says, I filed for VAWA and I was told they couldn't find my divorce record with Lagos Judiciary. I consulted with an attorney in Lagos and now I have my divorce record on the Lagos Judiciary Information System. I filed a 290B. What is the waiting period for a case to be reopened, and what are my chances since I have my record on the system? So the answer is it's going to really depend. I can't really tell you because I haven't looked at your records. I haven't been able to see when your divorce was executed compared to when you got married. And I talk about this a lot, especially to my Nigerian audience. You guys cannot half-ass your divorce. You better get a proper divorce and make sure that stuff is registered with the Foreign Ministry and Ministry of Interior, because they will deny you. Even if you have a legitimate marriage here, they will deny you, saying you were never free to marry. So you need to make sure that your divorce is done. So until I can't answer the question without seeing your actual divorce decree, seeing it under Lagos Judiciary myself, which I have the ability to pull up and compare the dates there to when you got married. But to answer your question about you filed a 290B based on providing that, the answer is that it really depends. For me, most of mine take about 6 to 8 months if they approve a reopening, because they don't have to approve one. But if they approve one, it can take 6 to 8 months. Some other cases, it can take a year. Maybe we've been lucky, but most of ours take somewhere between 6 months to 8 months. Okay. Somebody said, attorney, is it normal to receive biometrics first before prima facie? Yeah, it does. There's no rhyme or reasoning to it. And this is for those of you who have VAWA petitions. So this person is asking because, when you file a VAWA petition, if your case meets the bare minimum standards, you'll get a prima facie determination letter. But it's fine. Sometimes it takes a little longer for them to give you a prima facie determination letter, or they need some other evidence from you, but it's okay to get your biometrics before the prima facie. Someone says, what do you mean by declaration in a VAWA petition as a last way to green card? Not really sure I understand the last part of your question, but a declaration is basically a statement. It's a personal statement from you, the victim, that has experienced extreme cruelty or abuse. Usually, it is important that you have a robust and very detailed and articulated statement of your entire marriage and relationship with your spouse that led to what is happening to you. I cannot stress it enough. You can't just go there with like 1 or 2 page summary of what your wife has done for you. You must give them details, not like, oh, my wife is so abusive, she's causing me mental stress or health stress. That is not good enough. Like, if your wife is gaslighting you, you need to give them exact details. My wife, one day we went to Walmart, one day we went to the mall, and my wife did blah, 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 blah. You must be very detailed in your declaration. It's really critical. The way you want to think about it is this. All VAWA decisions, so, when you file, VAWA is a separate application than your adjustment of status. A lot of times, if visa is available to you, you can file the two together. So right now, what I'm talking about is VAWA alone, meaning the actual VAWA application, which must be approved before you get your green card. All VAWA decisions are going to be made sight unseen. What do I mean by that? They are going to approve or deny you of your VAWA case without an interview. So it is really critical that you come in hot. Let me use one of those songs. You really must come in strong in that application. When that person or that officer is reviewing your application, they must feel what it is that you're experiencing. If you're not able to communicate that to them, you're not getting an approval. So you must be able to package yourself truthfully, but in a way that they are able to connect. A lot of people struggle with that sometimes as a cultural thing. And that's why, it's good to go to an attorney who knows what they're doing, whether it's me or whoever you go to or whoever you've hired, just so that they're able to explain what it is. Because sometimes if you're dealing with something that is a cultural norm from where you're from, excuse me, guys, I'm so thirsty today. If you're dealing with something that's a cultural norm from where you're from, sometimes it is difficult to express it in the pain that you really should be expressing it to. So that's why a declaration is very important, okay? Guys, I only have about 6 more minutes, or actually 5 more minutes. So let me see what else here I can answer. Okay. This person says, yes, I am removing the conditions. I didn't pass the interview, but they haven't made a decision yet. I would like to know if I can travel with the stamp I have in my passport. What do you mean you didn't pass the interview? How do you know you didn't pass the interview if they've not given you a decision? I don't want to give you that legal advice. I can't give you legal advice because I need to know, in full details, and I can't ask you that question here. You can schedule a consultation with me. Let's just talk. I wouldn't travel right now if there's no decision on your case. I would not travel right now. We need to figure out what's going on with you. Okay, so this person said, I filed for VAWA since 2013. My kids were approved. My son was approved, but never received any approval letter. After all these years, we now found out, is there anything we can do? What do you mean? What do you mean that they were approved and you never received anything? So how do you know they were approved if you never received anything? Schedule a consult with me. Let's see what you have. If that was an error, then we can see if we can get them to reissue your approval letter, because you can't adjust your status with an approval letter. In 2013, that's 8 years ago. So it depends on now. I don't know how old your kids are and, visa availability. Dean says, good morning from South Carolina. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, somebody says, how long does a concurrent VAWA case take to be approved? So this person is saying that if I have a VAWA case with my adjustment of status for green card, how long does it take? So the answer is that, honestly, it really depends. Most VAWA cases take anywhere from 2 years to 2.5 years. Maybe two years to get your 20 months to 24 months. Let me do this. Let me say it this way. 18 months to 24 months or 20 months to get your VAWA approval. And then after your VAWA approval, you get your green card approval. So give or take 24 months to 2.5 years. While that's happening, as long as you keep your work permit active and your travel permit active, you'll still be able to work while you wait for them to make a decision. But if you did July 2019, you should be coming up very soon in the chain of approvals and decisions. And good luck. I hope you get approved. Okay, guys, let's see. I don't think I have any other questions, and I do have to jump off. Well, it was nice chatting with you guys. I'll try and be on here tomorrow, sometime between 9 to 9:30 a.m. So you can tune in. If you have any other questions, you can ask me tomorrow, or you can schedule a consultation, if you have a confidential matter and you really want to get resolution. Everything I tell you here is just broad. I don't know your personal situation. So in order for me to give you legal advice based on your personal situation, you have to schedule a consult. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Thursday and see y'all tomorrow. Bye.